Goodness gracious sakes alive, Iris and Rose here for another adventure. Today we're visiting Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary in Petros, Tennessee. Petros is a coal mining town. There are some coal mining scenes that were filmed here in the movie October Sky, but the main claim to fame is Brushy Mountain. Do not follow Google unless you want to go through the little town of Petros. There's a turnaround spot at the church. If you do miss your turn, it only takes about a minute to get through town. We did this video November of 2019. We're kind of falling behind on our video editing and posting, but we will get there. As you can tell, the leaves have turned on the mountains and it's a pretty drive up to the prison. Tickets are $15 for adults, $10 for kids. Military and seniors get 10% off. There are private tours and also a paranormal nighttime tour. If you want to look into that, go on their website. Of course, when we visited, there wasn't any of this crazy COVID-19 stuff going on. They are currently open in spite of COVID-19, and they do have social distancing guidelines in place. Historic Brushy Mountain Prison was established in 1896 and was in operation until 2009. There are former prisoners and former guards on the grounds to tell about what the prison was like at that time. The original prison was a wooden structure, but in the 1920s it was reconstructed to what we see today. It was completely built by the prisoners and the stone was used from the quarry. As of 2008, it was the oldest operating prison in Tennessee. This place housed thousands of murderers. As we entered, a nice lady gave us a map of the grounds. This tour is self-guided. We spent about 1.5 hours touring the prison, but it could probably be done quicker if you wanted to try that. We took our time. Look at how the old walls look with the peeling paint. Definitely not a vacation resort. To the right is the cell blocks for the regular inmates, and straight in front was the laundry room, the museum, stairway down to the hole, and the chapel, and to the left is the gym and the basketball courts. We are in the museum now, and the paintings on the walls were painted by inmates. There is a lot of prison displays here from when the prison was established up until the time of its closing. The hole is where they kept unruly and dangerous inmates. They were sometimes left there for months at a time. The space the inmate had was about 6 by 3 by 8 feet. Up until 1905, inmates were once subjected to suspension torture in these small areas. Suspension torture is where inmates were tied by their thumbs to pulley cords hanging from the ceiling, toes barely touching the ground for up to 30 minutes. In 1905, the practice was deemed inhumane. Imagine that. When the new prison opened in 1933, the hole increased to 4 by 8 by 10 feet. The hole contained a mattress and 2 buckets. One was for fresh water and the other was for a toilet. The gym was used for boxing matches, basketball games, and weightlifting. It also housed inmates when the prison, which was typically overcrowded, was filled to capacity. There is a concert stage behind the gym in the yard. They do have concerts there. The most recent concert we are aware of was country singer Chase Rice on June 27th of this year. Now we're in the cell blocks. These cells are 8 by 10 foot lockups and they include a metal bed, a toilet, and a sink. They were sometimes shared by 4 men. 2 were in the cells while the other 2 were working in the coal mines. The most famous inmate was James Earl Ray, who was convicted of killing Martin Luther King Jr. He is also one of the very few who actually escaped this prison. He escaped with 6 other inmates by climbing a fence, but his freedom only lasted 58 hours. He only made it about 8.5 miles from the prison because of the rough, rocky Tennessee terrain. Also, Byron Low-Tax Looper was an inmate here, and he was convicted to life in the killing of Tommy Burks, who was his Tennessee Senate opponent. And then we go into the Visitation Room. Beginning in 1965, the Visitation Room also served as the first inmate education program classroom. The University of Brushy Mountain paid inmates for taking classes in lieu of working and eventually expanded to include prison employees as well. This is the cafeteria. On February 8, 1982, there was a hostage shooting at the prison in this area. Three times a day, prisoners were served meals in the cafeteria, and a lot of murders happened in the cafeteria. These beautiful murals in the cafeteria were painted by inmates. James Slagle managed to escape the prison by squeezing into two 18 by 9-inch boxes taped together with a label stating 153 pounds of roast beef. He was placed on a flatbed truck, and once on the highway, he used his shoulders to bust open the box and tumble off the truck to freedom. Fortunately, or unfortunately for him, he'd been spotted by an off-duty prison guard out rabbit hunting and was soon back at Brushy Mountain facing time in the hole. This is the D block. It was built in 1957, and D block was used to house the most deadly criminals. It was called the New Hole after the old hole was closed down in the 1960s. Our GoPro batteries were all dead by the time we made it to the D block. That was pretty much the end of our tour, but we did go over to the Wardens Table for lunch. Here are some photos of the Warden's Table. I ordered fried pickles, Rose ordered barbecue wings, and we shared cheesecake. Our food was served on prison trays. The food was delicious, and those were some of the best fried pickles I've had. They have a lot on their menu, so just check out their menu online if you want to see what they offer. Brushy Mountain also has its own distillery. Yes, a prison with a moonshine distillery. We don't drink alcohol, but for those of you that do, they have plenty of flavors to choose from. Just remember, do not drink and drive. There's also a large gift shop where you can get some nice souvenirs. Apparently, there's also a lot of mud bogging in this area because we saw a lot of mud-covered vehicles in the parking lot. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed our overview of Brushy Mountain. If you liked the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Check out our Facebook and Instagram page where we will post all the photos taken that aren't in this video, and there were a lot of photos taken. Thanks for watching. Until next time, safe travels.